So, Deputy Chief, we've just been talking. You guys have actually had an increase in calls responding to people who have had pipes burst. Talk to me a little bit about why that's happening right now.
Well, as you know, we had the extremely cold snap. And so what happens is maybe our heating system isn't up to the task. Maybe we have some exterior wall pipes or other areas that get a little more cold. We don't notice it normally when we're down in the 30s into the teens, but we came down below zero here, and so it can be as simple as an exterior wall sink in your bathroom where the back of that cabinet and the piping gets cold, it freezes up, and then the pipe bursts, and as things warm up, then the water gets released. So last night we did around 12 or 13 water release calls throughout the district, and I know all the other fire departments were running pretty busy to handle them as well.
It's got to be really tough to handle, too, I think, during this weather. I mean, heading out there. Is there anything that we can do as homeowners or renters, to help prevent this?
Well, you want to make sure your heat's up. Sometimes people, especially in second homes or unused areas, they might close them off or turn the heat way down. When we get cold snaps like this, you want to make sure you're running the heat up a little higher, probably 65, somewhere up there. Make sure things like the cabinet doors to under the sink are open, and you've got some good heat exchange throughout the house to try to prevent the pipes from freezing. If you're a business owner, make sure the heat's on in the foyers. Sometimes we try to cut back, save a little money, shut heating systems off or turn them down in the off hours. And so we've had some foyer piping freeze, we've had some general area piping freeze, just because the heat's been turned down and the cold's been allowed to get into the building.
Great. Thank you so much for those tips. Wanted to talk about a couple other things as well today with you. First of all, want to make sure outside we have a huge levels of snow building up out there. More snow is falling today. One thing we want to make sure residents are doing is to keep those gas vents outside their homes clear, because we don't want any carbon monoxide poisoning. Where do you usually find those, and how can homeowners really check on that?
They're usually found generally on the back side or the non-pretty side of the home, so out on the back or the sides, and you can go down in the basement and take a look at your furnace if you've got a sidewall vent and just follow those pipes to the sidewall, and that should take you right to where they are. And they need to be kept clear. The gas furnaces do not have the heat to melt away a lot of the snow. So they may make a little pocket around themselves, but then the carbon monoxide builds up and it comes right through the side wall of the house and into the home.
Yeah, and that can definitely be very hazardous for people inside the home.
Absolutely. The carbon monoxide law in Massachusetts is called Nicole's Law, and it was named after a Plymouth DPW worker's daughter who died from this very phenomena, and that's why we require carbon monoxide detection in homes.
Wonderful. Any signs that you could make us aware of if you are having carbon monoxide in your home? Any signs of symptoms that you might be experiencing?
Initially, it may come on as flu-like symptoms where you're just tired, you feel a little nauseous, don't feel well. Then that's going to increase to being very tired, very, very lethargic, no energy at all. And then some people may go to sleep, become unconscious if the levels get high. There's often no taste and no smell. So that's why the carbon monoxide detectors are so important. The firefighters just came back from a home that had 60, 70 parts per million in it due to an oil burner malfunction, and that can be fatal over time. And if it wasn't for the carbon monoxide detectors, I don't believe that the occupants would have known they were having a problem.
Wonderful. Another thing that we need to talk to, you're still out there, we try and stay in as much as we can. We try and avoid going out there in the snowstorm, and the snow is just built up to an extreme level. But you guys have to get out there and you have calls. This is something that some people, I think, forget to think about. Their house needs to be ready in case they need an emergency crew to get to that house.
Absolutely. The snow's difficult. I know most people are kind of had their fill of the snow, so we may be not shoveling as much as we should or clearing as much. So we see a lot of homes where only the entrance and exit that the homeowners use on a day-to-day basis gets shoveled. The other ones don't. That may be okay for you to come out day to day, but if there's a fire or other problem in the home, you may not be able to get to that exit. So having the front door or any other exit shoveled is important. And also, can we get an ambulance up to your home? If you need medical care, can the paramedics and EMTs make it into the house? And conversely, can we get a stretcher out? Just because you can walk out doesn't mean necessarily that we wouldn't try to use the front door or another door with a stretcher. So those 2 ways out, 3 ways out are very important on a variety of different levels.
Another important thing I'm thinking of is, we all remember, of course, to shovel out our mailbox, but sometimes I don't think people are remembering to get that fire hydrant as well. Those are really important for you to have access to as well.
Absolutely. We've been working with the DPW and the water company. We sent crews out last week to shovel some hydrants, but just in the village of Hyannis, we have over 800 hydrants, and we really need the general public's help in keeping those clear. If they could adopt the hydrant that's in front of their home or in their neighborhood, it's for their safety, it's for everybody in the neighborhood's safety as well. And we'll lose precious minutes to shovel out a hydrant before we can get to that water supply. And we may not even be able to find it. When the fellas shoveled Friday, in a couple places they took 12 to 13 foot piles of snow down to get to the hydrant. Now I know that's probably more than a homeowner can do, but if they can find it and shovel it out, we'd really appreciate it. And we've had a lot of help with that. We'd like to encourage those people to continue to help us.
Great. Well, Deputy Chief Dean Melanson, thank you so much for taking this time to chat with us. I really appreciate it.
No problem.
For Channel 18, I'm Sarah Mannel.